Hi, everyone. So, my name is Katie. I am a senior studying elementary education at Western. One of my favorite activities that I've been involved in at Western was dance marathon, and I will talk about it in a little bit.
My name is Travis Geddes. I'm a junior here. I'm studying fashion merchandising. One of my favorite activities to do on campus is actually like go to the and work out and play basketball. But I am involved in other things on campus, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, so we have a quick PowerPoint to go through with you guys so that you can see some of the fun activities that we have and registered student organizations that we have at Western. So, here are me and Jarvis again. So today we're going to talk about perks of getting involved on campus, and then some ways that you can get involved, some of the registered student organizations that we have, and just some of our favorite experiences that we've experienced so far at Western.
Yeah.
So a few perks of getting involved are you can meet new people, you can find your passion through some extracurricular activities, you can also learn new skills. So registered student organizations at Western are called RSOs. So you'll hear that a lot on campus. And we have around 350 RSOs on campus.
So you want to know how can you get involved on campus? Well, there's a bunch of academic RSOs and a bunch of social, Greek life, and intramural and club sport. And there's like special programs. Um, Basically, the easiest way to put all that, you really just have to get out there and just like really look around because lots of times throughout campus, these same RSOs will have like booths up places, and all you gotta do is go up and really introduce yourself, and you really meet like a lot of people. That's how I got involved with Greek life, and as far as like social RSOs, that basically means like RSOs that like meet for like gaming and stuff like that. Like sports is a social RSO, so we have like a huge like esports arena specifically for like people who love to game and stuff like that. With the intramural and club sports, there's track, there's literally everything, like literally everything. I don't even want to like get into it, like how many intramural sports there are. And special programs are mainly like programs that you would probably automatically hear of when you first come to Western. If that's something that you are like wanting to deeply be like involved, those are like programs that will already just be offered to you from Western. And with academic RSOs, you'll find those through like your major and like basically whatever building you go to the most, your RSO is probably gonna like pop up there for your academics.
So now we're going to talk about some of the RSOs on campus that we have. So we have student government RSOs such as the Western Student Association. So if you're interested in being involved in student government, that's a great one. We have a ton of unique interest RSOs such as Cornhole Club or some um, anime addicts, I think it's called. There are some faith-based organizations. Or many faiths are represented through these organizations that you can choose to join. We have advocacy or political RSOs as well as culturally based RSOs.
So like how do you know about like all these opportunities? Basically, literally it's like just experience WMU, and we'll get into more of that because that's a bigger thing. But you can also just like read the bulletin boards in the hallways, stop by those tables that'll be around campus, look on social media, not really eavesdrop on people, but like ask people like, oh hey, what were you just talking about? It's basically how you get the word out about like RSOs, and just go to the events that are like actually posted on those like bulletin boards, and then like people tell you about, just go to them because you never know who you'll meet at those.
So this is the homepage of Experience WMU. This is where all of our RSOs are located for you to look at what we have as well as join them. So when you sign in, this is what it'll look like. You can sign in through your GoWMU homepage or by Googling Experience WMU, and then it's the first one that comes up. You can search for anything that you would like to in the search bar. So something super cool about it is it doesn't have to be specifically what we offer at Western. So you could search something like student government, and then our student government, Western Student Association, will pop up. So you can search anything that you're interested in and see any organizations at Western that kind of fit that category. So this is a page once you search whatever you're looking for and click on an organization that looks interesting, you can visit their page to learn more about them. So you can see their vision and their mission, as well as like a brief kind of summary, I guess, of what their organization offers or does at Western. Contact information down here if you're interested or have any questions. Their social media, um, if you want to connect with them on social media. And then up here is a join button, the blue join. You can join and then get more information from them, such as their upcoming meetings, or talk to people who are involved in it, to see if that's something that you would be interested in joining. Also, in Experience WMU, you can search any organization, or you can just click on the whole organization tab and you'll see all of the organizations in a list. So then you can scroll through. There's about 350 of them, so it might take you a minute, but you can find more that kind of look interesting
Yeah.
that we offer. So before we go, we wanted to just tell you a few quick things about orientation. This is the third component of orientation, which is the virtual community sessions. So these small group information sessions will be available in July. You'll be able to hear from RSOs, clubs, affinity groups, campus departments, as well as academic colleges. They will allow you to learn about and connect with campus, as well as find more ways to get involved. So before these live sessions start in July, RSOs and departments will post short introduction videos to the orientation website, and that will begin in mid-June. So be sure to check the orientation website frequently, as they will be updated regularly. So you'll get to hear from more RSOs and clubs. They'll kind of like switch out or be added to the website. Experience WMU, the site that we just showed you, will be where you can register for these sessions. You can register for as many as you want, but each session will be capped at around 20 students, so you can meet other students that share common interests with you. This is a great way to get involved before you even get to campus. Jarvis, do you want to share anything about other organizations that you're a part of that you enjoy?
Yeah. So I am a part of Greek life. I'm part of Fiji, also known as Phi Gamma Delta. It's a social Greek life fraternity. It's a really like close knit group of guys. We do like spring recruitment and fall recruitment. So hopefully that all still happens in the fall. We don't really know yet, but we're almost 100% sure it will. So if you're listening to this and you want to rush Fiji, just come on out. I'm a part of that. And I'm also going to join the One Western track team. So that's going to be really interesting because I haven't ran track since high school. So, probably got to get back in shape for that. So those are like two of the biggest things probably with me right now. What about you, Katie?
Awesome. So before I share, I just want to remind you guys, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, things that you're wondering, or any questions at all, go ahead and add them to the Q&A section or in the chat, and then we can try and answer your questions. So earlier I told you about Dance Marathon. That's one of my favorite events that I was a part of. We raise money for a children's hospital, and then we dance for 12 hours and stay on your feet, kind of in support of those who can't. So that's a great time. I've done it for a few years. So it was a great opportunity. I met a lot of my friends through that organization, as well as got to raise money for a great cause. So that was a lot of fun. I'm also on the e-board for Alpha Lambda Delta, which is an honor society for first-year students. So that has been a great growth experience, I guess, for me. So there's also clubs and organizations you can join for you to grow as a person, as a leader, if that is something that you're interested in doing as well.
When do you guys start summer program in July? Is it every day? Is it an everyday session for only 1 hour? And when do we choose to have our class choices sent by?
I'm
That
not
is.
sure if there's a specific date yet or anything. I know that you'll be able to hear from the organizations for the virtual orientation. You'll start hearing from them about mid-June, and then you'll be able to join the live events in July sometime. So I would check the orientation website probably for updates. They'll probably get shown there, as well as then in Experience WMU, you can keep track of which sessions that you're joining. And I'm sure that they'll post updates as to when their live sessions will be.
And he also asked something about the class, about classes. So, to my understanding, there'll also be like another like virtual session with like your advisor for your academic college, and they'll do like a Zoom call or something like to sign you up with your classes. I am almost 75% that is correct. I know that is not like what you probably wanted to hear, but that is what I know.
Mhm.
But I believe I'm
Definitely
right.
definitely keep checking your Western email, because
Yes, because
especially for
yeah.
advising and class choices and everything, that'll all come to your Western email.
But if you want to
Yeah,
put
so
that back
that
up there, I
question
can.
was if there was a club that focuses on board games and tabletop games like D&D. So there's an RSO called Gamers Guild. They normally meet on Fridays in the Bernhardt Center. There's also other organizations, so you can head to Experience WMU and search board games or games or anything and see what comes up for that. But I know that there's a lot um, that focus on games.
It says, "Will I be able to do something like this in the fall?" I hope so. There usually is something like that for first year students, so I would imagine they will bring that back. That is also something you should like keep looking at Experience WMU, and they will definitely like get the word out about that because RSOs are like obsessed with like first year students because they want to get you right when you come. Next question is, when is the deadline for room assignments, and how should I proceed with deciding that? So they don't really have a deadline about that room and board question. They don't have a deadline on it, but it is open for the 2021 fall and spring sign up. So I don't know how much you know about going to Go WMU and going to actually look at the residence live um, page, like to sign up for your room, but that is still open, and the resident hall roommate group thing is still open. So you can also try to find your roommate by like putting in like these special like answers to these questions that will match you and your roommate up, like a roommate match thing. So that is still open.
So another question we have is how exactly is orientation being done? Is it modules or is it live videos? So it's a combination of both. You'll begin by completing some modules about orientation. And then in July, that will be the live videos. And those are and that you should look at the orientation website as well as your WMU email. Another question we have is, are there any ultimate Frisbee clubs? There is an ultimate Frisbee club. I don't know anything about them, but definitely look them up on Experience WMU. I know that it exists and I know that it's a lot of fun.
We have a question that says, "What was your favorite thing from freshman year?" Favorite thing from freshman year. I really think my favorite thing from freshman year was the night the rec opened. There was literally about like 60 guys just like all playing basketball until like the place closed. And that's where I met like one of my closest friends. So that is probably one of my favorite things from my freshman year. What about you, Katie?
Um, that's a tough question. I loved freshman year. Um, I loved fall welcome at the beginning of the year. Hopefully, that will still happen in some capacity in the fall. But that was a great way to meet new people. And then, honestly, just talking to people in my classes was a lot of fun. Um, I guess starting those study groups, getting to know people, being able to grab food at one of the dining halls with someone, and just starting to build those relationships kind of helped me a lot. I'm still friends with a lot of my friends from my first year, so that was great.
There's another question asking which is the best dorm, like which dorm is the best for like getting a single room. That's a tricky question because sometimes, let's say you go in blind, and let's say when you go in blind, it basically means going in and not knowing who your roommate is. Let's say they decide like not to live with you, you would get a single. And I don't want to make that sound like, oh, that will happen to any of you guys. 'Cause that's like not good, but it's fine because it happened to me last year actually. So I had a single, um, but you just have to. You almost get lucky to get a single when like it's supposed to be a double. But I'm pretty sure there's a dorm on campus, and you can guys can search this up if you want. But I'm pretty sure it's Zimmerman Hall that is all basically singles, but it's probably already filled up. So you just have to get lucky at this point if you haven't signed up for your dorm. Let's see. How
There's a
about
question
any?
here that
Go ahead.
says, how long did it take for you guys to figure out where your classes are your first year and not get confused on the buildings? Do we have any advice?
Oh, it's. I'm not gonna lie. This sounds like really like cliche, but it's actually really easy. especially if you live in the valleys. It's literally, you take the same route every single day. It's literally downhill. And then if you're in the business college, you just always just look to your right and just keep going right. I know this is like kind of hard to describe this, but this is like literally how I did. Sangren is like the center of everything. So you'll have a class in Sangren if you're a first year student. So it's literally the big glass building in the middle of everything. It's really hard to miss. And then after that, it's literally either straight towards the fountain or you have to go off campus, but we have bus systems for stuff like that. But the only reason why you'll go off campus is if you're like a nursing major or an engineer or some other type of health major to go to a health services building. I think I covered that. Did I miss anything, Katie?
Some advice that I would add is the first couple of days after you move into campus or get to campus, maybe walk around, kind of get the names of some of the buildings just so you can have a general idea of some of the names, use a building. I always use the flagpoles. And I say, oh, the honors college is right kind of next to the flagpoles. And that kind of helped me get my grounding. But it kind of, like Jarvis was saying, it comes naturally after a while of taking the same route, and you'll pass some of the same buildings and kind of start to know your way.
Yeah. Also, if you see someone that's in your class, just don't follow them. Don't make it obvious you're following them. But if you know they're going to the class at the same time, just like walk behind them or something, or actually talk to them and meet them, because then you guys are both learning the way. That's another way I learned how to do it. I also saw a question about how do RSOs deal with people who have visual impairments?
I think that accommodations are made as necessary for sure. So if
Oh
you
yeah,
are interested in joining an RSO, you will be able to join the RSO. Yeah.
yeah, they'll make accommodations for you. It's not like they're going to say, "Oh, you can't join," because that won't happen. Um, there's a question here about what does dance marathon look like? Do you guys just dance? Katie, you've done it multiple times. Go ahead and fill them in.
Yeah, so there's a lot of dancing for sure, but there's also just a lot of standing, mingling. The main thing is you don't sit down for the 12 hours. It goes from noon to midnight on the night of the fundraiser. There's a lot of fundraising that happens. They do a bulk of their fundraising on that night, as well as leading up to it. So yeah, you dance. They actually teach a dance, which is super fun. They have a choreographed dance that they teach. So they do that on the hour. You learn another part of it. So it's great. It's a lot of dancing, but you don't have to dance if you don't want to. You can also walk around, mingle with everybody, meet new people, all of that fun stuff. So there's some questions about food being served in the cafeteria and if it will be buffet style. So there are a couple of
Oh,
dining centers on campus. The Valley Dining Center is kind of buffet style. There's a bunch of like mini micro restaurants around the dining center. So you can kind of walk up, you can grab a piece of pizza or the other meals that they offer. And then you can sit back down and get up and get more food as many times as you want. Do we know anything about Western Heights? Yeah, Western Heights
SHC.
is pretty central on campus. They are community style rooms, I believe. So there's like pods, and those are gender specific, so all females and all males. Community style bathrooms, double and triple rooms, I believe, or maybe just double rooms. I lived in the Valleys 2 years that I lived on campus, and I absolutely loved the Valleys as well.
There was a question about on-campus jobs, and the easiest way to put that, you can just type in on your computer WMU handshake, and literally every campus job that is available for students, you can find through there, whether it be work or not. And you can also upload your email, not your email, you can obviously do that, upload your resume to it, so it automatically will like send your resume through. And that website's WMUhandshake.com. And you'll like sign in with your WMU login just to make sure that like you're a WMU student. So your jobs will be close to you and from Western.
Yep. There's another question. Will it be easy to work a full-time job and be a full-time student? I do not have experience with a full-time job as well as a full-time student. However, I have always held another job with my classes. I think it comes down to scheduling it for yourself. And if you think that that's something you can handle, I think it's doable. I've worked between 12 and 20 hours a week on top of my classes. So,
I also think it depends on what type of job you have. If you have a job where they're more lenient with you doing homework and stuff like that, or it's downtime, then 100% yes, you can totally do it. But if you have a job that you have to like constantly be there, you just have to make that work for yourself. Like you have to constantly like do something other than homework or reading or something like that. Then yeah, it all depends.
there's a question about, do either of you know anything about the Lee Honors College? I'm in the Honors College. The first 2 years, I believe you have to go to some honors events, which are also a great way to meet new people who are also in the Honors College. A lot of learning experiences as well. And then to graduate from the Honors College, you'll have to complete a thesis project, which is a research assignment. So I just finished mine as well. That was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from doing that process. If you have any other specific questions about the Honors College, go ahead and answer it. But that's just a quick summary, I guess, of what I remembered. There's a question, what did you think about the class size for honors classes? My experience in honors classes was about 12 students in the class, so definitely smaller. They were a lot more conversation based than just lecture based, which I really liked. I'm also an education major, so I'm not positive if that might be different for everyone else, but I know that the honors college is kind of known for smaller class sizes. There's a question, how do I get involved in the marching band?
I'm pretty sure there's a class you actually take that's marching band, and then you have to you have to audition to be in it, like to like actually be in it. So after that, and if you make it, I'm pretty sure you're in, because that's one of my Fiji brethren have told me. So he had to audition to get in it. So yeah, you would have to basically go contact the School of Music. So yeah, that's
I
your
would
best bet.
suggest for the marching band, maybe Google Western Marching Band. They might have a
Yeah, that
website or
too.
something with some more information. Sorry that we don't have
Yeah.
more specifics for you. Another question is, what's the best way to meet new people on campus? I would say going to events and organizations. That's how I've met a lot of my friends. Talking to people in your residence halls, that was helpful for me too.
That's how I met all my friends. We literally that first week we were there, we would just like during the daytime, if we were in our room, we would door open so like people come knock and say hi and introduce themselves. That's a huge thing. But it's different for everyone. So
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, what's the process for rushing fraternities and when is that? Um So basically, for recruitment, it all depends on what time you want to rush. So if you come out in the spring, it's a little different from the fall. The fall is more formal. And then in the spring, it's called informal. Formal is basically you go visit all the fraternity houses on campus and you get a feel for which one you want to be in. And then after that, you get like a top three. And then from those top three, you go back and you get to like talk to them again. And then you finally pick your one. And then you have your bid night. And then I'm not gonna give you that much information. Uh, but then an informal, you go directly to the house that you want to be in, and you just literally tell them like, yeah, I want to be in this fraternity, and you come back for like the whole week. They'll have events every single day, and after that, you also have your bid night again, and then yep, the rest is like
For more
history, I guess.
information on fraternities and Greek life, in the fall, hopefully, organizations sometimes take the flagpoles and set up tabling events there. So as you're walking to and from classes and around campus, you can stop and talk to people for more information, as well as maybe check into some social media that Greek life has. And you can probably find some rushing dates and everything once we get closer to the fall.
I saw a question about RSOs and other colleges in Kalamazoo, like basically collabing.
I don't know that we do anything with other colleges.
There may
I'm
be
not
some
sure.
RSOs that there may be some RSOs that are open to other colleges, but that would be like in their specific RSOs. I haven't experienced anything like that because I would imagine that the other colleges also have their RSOs they need to tend to, so and their students. So
Honors college events. They are smaller sessions. I believe they're capped at 100 students and they take place in the Honors College. That might be changing for the fall, but in my experience, it was around 100 students. There have been all types. There's been ice cream socials, there are movie nights, TED Talk, watching events. They do a lot of like honors or ice cream socials or like pizza nights and stuff like that for more personalized communication between students.
I saw a question about um, in-person tours resuming. I haven't heard anything about those resuming. I'm sure the very second that they are resuming, they will contact people that have signed up or were even thinking about signing up. I'm pretty sure the Office of Admissions will do that.
Mhm.
So just be checking your email and watch the news once we get off lockdown and stuff like that.
There's another question. How many community service hours are required a year for the Honors College? 20.
Are there any buses that lead into Kalamazoo shopping area? Yes, there is. Learning the bus route for the off campus is really easy. You have to learn it. I don't know how to describe it really, but it is free for you. Just have to show your Bronco ID. And yes, they do take you to all the shopping areas. There's actually a Walmart bus specifically. There's a bus that takes you to Meyer. There's a bus that will take you all the way to the mall. If you need to get around somewhere and you don't have a car, the bus can take you within the Kalamazoo Portage area.
And those are all free. Like Jarvis said, you just have to show your Bronco ID card. So make sure you always have that. More about honors classes and participation in class. They are smaller class sizes. So in my experience, I had around 12 to 15 in a class. Participation in class probably depends on the professor. In my experience, it was more like communication based. So talking with your classmates a lot, presenting on news articles and stuff. I did. So it was more of that versus like a lecture class. Um, I really liked the honor style classes. It was great to be able to connect more closely with the professor, as well as communicate more with the students in my class. So I learned a lot from them.
There's a question here about is it really easy to have a job while being a student? I'm going to answer that because I've had a job all years I've been a student. And I'm going to say it is to me personally, but that's just how I am. Um, but I don't see it wouldn't be easy for anyone else. But I really enjoyed it because it gave me something other to look forward to besides like class work and stuff like that. So like I always had something else to do other than going to class or going to the rec. So I had something more professional to do. So I thought it was easy. I don't know how Katie would feel.
I feel the same way. I was a classroom assistant for a general education class, and so that was great because I got to work more closely with the professor and the students in that class. It definitely adds more to your workload, and you have to plan a little bit through your weeks of like assignments and making sure that you don't miss that stuff, and still being able to hang out with friends and do other activities. But it's definitely doable. I would say a lot of my friends probably have jobs.
Are there any holiday events at WMU? Um, in a short answer, kind of yes, because in the VDC and then like the dining halls, when it comes around to like a certain holiday, you'll be able to tell the difference between the way the dining hall looks, and it's super nice. It's like the food is different. Yes, there is. Katie, can you go more into that? I don't know how to describe it.
I'm not sure if there's like events, holiday events. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but yeah, like
I'm not
Jarvis
sure if
was
it's like
saying,
yeah.
they'll like decorate the dining halls a lot. I've noticed. Other than that, I'm not sure. There might be an RSO if you want to check out Experience WMU. and see if there's any RSOs that do activities like that. If not, you can also start an RSO. An RSO is a registered student organization. So those are all of our clubs and like extracurricular activities that you can be a part of. And Experience WMU is the website that you can find all of that on.
Says there was a question about, do more students walk or ride bikes on campus? You'll come to see that it's probably easier to walk around campus than it is to ride a bike, because there actually is a lot more people walking than there is people riding a bike and or skateboarding, because you'll see both. But yeah, more people walk because everything is within walking distance on campus for like class wise, and you'll start to know that like, yeah, some of the classes you can't walk to, there's a bus to take to them.
You can ride your bike though if you want to, or skateboard,
Yes,
or
yes, you can. Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Oh, there was a question about, when did you apply for your classroom assistant job?
I applied for that during the class. So the general education, I was a student in the class, and the professor let us know that he was looking for a new assistant. And so I applied directly with him. I know that there's other opportunities in other classes. I would check Handshake as well. If none of like your classes offer that opportunity, check Handshake. There's a lot of classroom assistant jobs as well as like desk jobs, answering phones or checking people in to different departments on campus that you can apply for as well.
All right, I saw a question about two questions. I can answer one of them really quickly. There are two bus routes on campus. They're the brown and the gold. The brown goes one way and the gold goes exact opposite. But the times may or be different now because they are like newer buses and they've been updated. But the second you move into like your dorm or you look anywhere on campus, really, there's a bus route with the time slots on there, and they're really convenient and yeah, super easy. And then there's another about is there a safe place for like weather and for your bike to store it? Some dorms have like this awning type thing that like your bike will go under, but it doesn't really protect it completely from like the rain and the snow, because it gets a lot, it's Michigan, it's a lot of snow, it's a lot of rain sometimes. So yeah, but you can register your bike through parking services, I believe. You can get like a number for your bike or something like that. So if it does go missing, they can track it, or it's a little confusing, but if you just go to WMU parking services and give them a call or just check their website, there should be information about that.
There's a question, are there some events open to the public? As someone who lives in Kalamazoo already, I would love to do things on campus with my family and friends. I don't know of anything off the top of my head in particular that are open to the public, such as family and friends that don't go to Western. I would, after you start getting involved and going to meetings for any organization that you're involved in, I would look further into that. I know that there's usually like a concert type event that one of the organizations puts on in the fall once a year, and that one is open to the public as well. As far as like RSO activities open to the public, I'm not positive. I think most of
I
it
would,
is for Western students.
yeah, I would say it really would depend on your RSO, because I know some RSOs may encourage you to bring your parents and families to things, because like in Fiji, we have a family and friends weekend where we bring up our friends and we get to know each other. Do you think the schools will be open in the fall? I do. I personally do. I think we'll all be back to classes in the fall.
In a recent message from President Montgomery, he was saying that he hopes to welcome everybody back to campus and have a fully functional campus. Of course, anything decided by the government and other, like the CDC and stuff, we can't change, but he hopes to have everyone come back.
There's a question about saying how safe is it to walk alone, like walk at night around campus during the dark. It's really safe to me personally, I think that they're like the way we have campus set up, there is a lot of light in a lot of areas that you would think that would be dark, but there's actually a lot more light than what you would think. And there's like these police boxes and emergency boxes with the blue light that I'm pretty sure you've seen in other places, and they literally work the same way. You just press it and talk. So, and they'll be there to you as soon as they can, which is really fast because yeah, there's not been a lot of incidences like that. Like my whole time being at West, I've never heard of anything ever, like anyone even having to use those things. So yeah, but we have them because we're prepared.
I've never felt unsafe walking on campus at
Yeah.
night. There's also like volunteer, like community watch people. I'm not sure what their exact name is, but they're students who walk around and they'll be wearing like yellow vest type things. So I know that I've seen them before at night, just walking. And if you need to stop them and ask them something, you can do that as well. But the blue light boxes around campus are super helpful.
Yeah,
Just
like during finals week, I've left the library at like 3 a.m. and literally been walking, music blasting in my ears. It's been perfectly fine. The only thing that'll probably scare you is like a deer, and that's probably it.
or the geese.
Yes, the geese. Yeah, they are scary. What is campus policy on medieval weapons? Like, can I carry a sword around for self-defense? Absolutely not. Um, I'm pretty sure the only thing you can have on campus is like pepper spray. There are no weapons allowed on campus or within inside the dorms. The only people that have weapons would be WMU police and Kalamazoo police. I'm not even sure WMU police have guns, but there are no weapons allowed on campus. What page do I look at for bus routes? If you in WMU bus routes, it's going to bring you up to Bronco Transit. Just go ahead and press that, and it literally has all the routes there. I did miss a couple. If you're like an aviation student, they do have a bus for the aviation students. So I'm sorry to forget you, but there is one for all of you guys. But the two main ones on campus, the brown and gold, are there. Just go ahead and press those, and they should, tell you which way to go.
During the winter, would it be weird to come to class in snow gear? I don't like being cold. Not at all. I have a coat that goes pretty much down to my knees, as well as scarf and hat. If it's even a little bit cold out, I definitely wear everything, and you would not be alone if you do that as well.
Yeah, I usually wear shorts in the winter. I'm not even kidding. But yeah. Katie probably definitely doesn't approve
Ugh,
of that.
making me shiver right now.
What kind of ATM machines are on campus? Our campus has a PNC Bank on our campus, and there are, I believe, 3 or 4 ATMs on campus, but I'm positive there's 3. So yeah, it's a PNC, and if you sign up, you can sign up for them. If you don't have a PNC account, I highly suggest you get one because there's a full working bank right on your campus, inside the Bernhardt Center in the basement, across from the subway.
Another question we have is, what do we get free around town as a Western student? You get a lot. There are a lot of food places that offer discounts as long as you have your Western ID. So I highly suggest carrying that with you anywhere that you go. Like we talked about before, the bus systems are free as a WMU student.
It also depends, like she said, there's a bunch of food places. There's a lot of like the Spirit Shop is one. They offer a discount to WMU students. That's just like your Western gear. There are also there's a lot. Sometimes you just gotta ask.
They'll have a sign in their entrance or at their cash registers too, and many places that say, show us your ID for 10% off or whatever. So just keep your eyes peeled for that too.
The question about, are there filtered water machines to fill up water bottles? Yes, they're inside of the buildings, they're inside the dorms. I would assume that, but can you store your bike in your dorm?
That would be a great question for residence life.
Yes,
if you want to contact them before you come to campus, or once you move into your residence hall, definitely talk to somebody there and check with them.
It says, do we get our IDs on the first day? Um, you know what? I would imagine that when you come to campus and you're ready to move in, that either residence life would already have your ID, but if not, you can always go to the Bernhardt Center and they have it up in their system if you have received your first free ID. So if you don't have it by then, go to the Bernhardt Center, go to the ID center, and then they'll give you your card for free. But if you already got your card and you lost it, it's $30.
I would check your Western emails for that. We don't have information about how students are getting new IDs currently because of the changes on campus right now. But they will get those to you because you need them for swiping into your residence halls, swiping into the dining centers. You need it for everything on campus. So you will have it for
Yeah,
sure. But we don't have an answer right now on exactly when you'll get that.
yeah.
There's another question. Do they have air conditioning in the dorm rooms? It depends on the dorm that you choose. I know Western Heights does have air conditioning, but the valleys do not.
But it's a good bonding experience with your roommate, just being in a non-AC place, make you want to go out and do more on campus. So it's just $30 to replace your Western ID.
How are IDs renewed? Currently, and in my experience, we keep the same Bronco ID for all 4 years. So once you get your first one, as long as you don't lose it, you'll have that same one with you.
Yeah.
That's how it's always worked. I'm not sure if that's in plans of changing or anything, but that's my experience. You keep the same one.
Do most students live on campus? For their first year, yes, most students do. But you meet people that like have apartments and stuff like that, and just be like, "Oh yeah, come live with me." So that may be like a factor, but a lot of people do live on campus. Chances are, by the mid-fall, the dorms are filled up. You can't really. You have to like make a whole plan and a process to move around because it's so filled up, and that's a good thing, honestly. Because the more people on campus, the more people you get to meet.
There's a question. Are there stores on campus in any building that sell toiletries or food? I know for sure in the Bernhardt Center, there is a store and it has some toiletry stuff as well as food. You can also grab like sandwiches and stuff for lunch in there. And then there's an area behind there to hang out and sit. There's a bunch of tables and chairs and everything in there. There is also the bookstore. They have a lot of kind of like snacky items as well as toiletries, shampoo, conditioner, extra stuff like that that you might need. There's another question about IDs. If you have a horrible picture, are you stuck with that ID or can you get a whole new one? You're stuck with that ID unless you would like to pay the $30 to get a new one. Then you can retake your picture.
Yeah, but no one really looks at your ID but you.
I'm going to share this slide with you that has our email for our office at the Office of Student Transitions, as well as a phone number that you can contact us at. If you have any other questions, someone from the Office of Student Transitions can help you with that.
Where do I register for housing? Okay, so to register for housing, you're gonna get on your laptop or computer, whatever, and go to gowmu.com. You're gonna sign in. You're gonna see that it's gonna ask you to put in your BroncoNet ID and your password. Hopefully, you still have that all like written down somewhere. You do that, and then it's gonna bring up these My Self-Service tabs on your left-hand side, and then under it's gonna be you're gonna have to go through it and just find residence life housing. And from that point, it's literally basically gonna walk you through. Because if you didn't do something, it'll tell you that. But if not, just press residence halls, and then you're gonna do fall and spring housing and dining room selection contract or roommate group if you haven't signed up for that. And also your dining hall application and contract are also in that same portal.
Again, with that one, be sure to keep checking your Western email. Residence Life, I'm sure, will be reaching out.
Yeah.
with reminders about registering for housing and information on how you can do that. There's another question. Is there a transport system to the nearest airport and train station? I believe, yeah, the buses also go to the train station. I'm not positive about the airport though. But if you find the bus routes and the maps and everything, and you can find where the airport is. I want to say no, but there might be. And
Yeah.
then do the faculty support moving day?
There should
Yes.
be a bunch. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of student volunteers helping in to when you move in. If that's still a thing, that will be that. But that's always been like that, so I wouldn't see why it would change.
All right. So again, we just want to share you guys, or thank you guys for joining us. Here
Yes,
is
thank
the
you.
email again and our phone number if there's any other questions. Other than that, thanks for chatting with us today, and we hope that we
Yes,
got
thank
you
you.
kind of excited to come to Western.